Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Well, I was working on another video. I was hoping to get it up early this week, but as you can tell from the thumbnail, that's not happening. So last Friday, day after Thanksgiving, I was out running errands and had to go to our UPS store, which is over in Oak Park. It's on Lake Street, just west of Oak Park Avenue. And if you know the area, or if you want to look on Google Maps, and I got to the intersection just west of the block that store is on, and Lake Street was shut down. The Oak Park police were there. I pulled out my press pass, and there was an officer right there, and I asked her if she could share anything about what happened. She just said, well, there was an incident over at the library. So the library is on the north side of Lake Street. East of the library, right across from the UPS store, is Scoville Park, which is it's a nice suburban park. So I drove to the north of Scoville Park, found a parking spot on a side street, walked it down towards the library and the park. And when I got to the park, I realized that whatever had happened, it was a big deal because there were large areas of the park taped off. There were police vehicles from multiple departments surrounding Oak Park, of course, surrounding suburbs, City of Chicago, Cook County Sheriff's Office. So I was like, oh, wow. So I walked to where I could get through on the police tape. Happened to run into one of our designers, and I should say that the paper was actually closed for a small suburban newspaper, and so people were off for the holiday weekend. But I happened to run into one of our designers who I think lives right in that area, and she was out for a walk, and she told me that evidently there had been a bank robbery, but that an officer got shot. So I went on, and all I had was my LX100 Mark II, so I'm taking photos because I wasn't planning on doing photojournalism that day, but I always have a camera with me. So I had the LX100 Mark II. I went down to my UPS store. In fact, the thumbnail photo, that is my UPS store. The door right there, that's the UPS store. So they had it taped, but they made it so you could get into that store. The officers there were from the City of Chicago and Oak Park, and I think they were looking to see if some rounds had hit the building, because evidently there were multiple shots fired. So as things began to clear up as far as what happened, we're not certain that there actually was a bank robbery, and the actual bank involved was not, there's a bank right there at the corner of Oak Park Avenue and Lake Street. It was not that bank. There's a Chase branch a few blocks east, really pretty much in downtown Oak Park. And the perpetrator had walked out of that bank, and somebody saw him, he had a gun. And so they called the Oak Park police, who responded, and he had headed east on Lake Street. So by the time they caught up with him, he was in the area of the library and Scoville Park. So they approached him. He drew his gun and started firing. And he hit Detective Allan Reddins in the left side. And I would imagine, Detective Reddins was actually working patrol that day. He was filling in. I would imagine he wore a vest, but those things are not 100%. So he was hit in the left side, taken to Loyola Medical Center, and passed away, half an hour, 45 minutes after he was hit. The perpetrator was hit in the leg. He was also taken to Loyola. I'm not going to show any photos, not that these are, at all disturbing, because mostly the crime scene and police investigation, what I could get of that, and the police vehicles. But I am linking to the story in our paper. And I actually might be two stories. And also I'm linking to the Village of Oak Park website, which has information about Officer Reddins. He was a young guy. He was 40 years old. He has a 19-year-old son, and evidently really loved his mother. From what we learned in the press conference that evening, the chief of police, chief of the Oak Park Police, at a press conference at Village Hall, and I covered that. These men and women in blue, they have a tough job, and they can go long periods of nothing really happening, and then you have this one day where something can happen that ends up ending your life. So we really need to keep that in mind. My condolences go out to Detective Reddins' family, the Oak Park Police, the police community in general. Everybody in this area is hurting right now, in multiple departments. And, it's just an awful thing. Perpetrator has been charged with murder, with a first-degree murder, and also attempted murder of the other officers that he fired upon. It's horrible. And I guess it's something that I should realize, that it's always the possibility that I was going to have to cover. So that's it for now. This is, it's really affected a lot of the people around here. We're very, very, very sad. I'm Todd Banner. I will see you next time.